Good evening, gentlemen. Today I'm here to do another book review, this time on Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Just to give a little bit of backstory, a lot of people usually read this book when they're in high school or middle school. For me, I never did. I'm not sure why, but I never really read it, and I've always heard about this book because a lot of people I know have read it when they were in school. So I thought since I have time, I'd give it a go, especially since my friend let me borrow it. The book, I finished in about 7-8 days, about a week, give or take. It wasn't too long. It was about 300 pages. And, yeah, just thought I'd talk about it since I haven't done a book review in a while. So, pretty much the setting of the novel I really liked. I guess we'll start off with that. And just to give a little disclaimer, a lot of the stuff I'm going to say in this video has been said probably hundreds of times since this book is not obscure in the slightest, so thought I'd throw that out there. I'm not trying to make any grand analysis here, just give my general thoughts. A lot of this stuff in this book I really did like. Some of it dragged on a little bit, but overall I really liked it. The setting of the novel, you have this island and these kids who are on a plane. There's a middle of a war going on, so they're in a plane, and then it gets shot down and it crashes on the island. Now all that's left are kids in this island, so it's really interesting. You're like, okay, how is this gonna go down? So at first it starts out really great. You have all these characters and they all get along and they start their own order system to keep things going, and basically it seems like things are going smooth and swimmingly at first, because all these characters have the same common goal of getting rescued, so they're all working together. But then as the story progresses, obviously the more darker side of humanity comes out, where all the characters sort of get into split into factions and have this conflict. And I really liked how it made sense with the book. Slowly you have this really great system of authority, where they use the shell and they pass it on whenever they want to speak. I really like that. And the characters themselves, I'll be honest, I don't really remember most of them. Just Ralph, Piggy, and Jack were pretty much the only characters that I could seriously talk about their personality a little bit. I really like Simon too, but he didn't have much screen time in the story. Now, after the book slowly shifts into this. It has this governmental order, and then everything just sort of collapses as the story goes on. And I really thought that was really interesting how it was done, because it's not sudden, it's slow, and it really makes sense. And talking about the characters themselves, they all represent certain philosophies or ideas. Ralph is this leadership type role, keeps the order going, and then reason, and then Piggy is a very intellectual character. He's always talking about how to be adults, which was interesting. And then you have Jack, who was this rebellious, anti-authority figure, and the book sets up these characters as these symbols, and then it goes through with them, which makes this book not too hard to fully understand. But in the the excerpt at the end, it talks about how this book's been analyzed so much, and there really is a lot to analyze. A lot of the stuff in this book, there's so many different themes you can go into, religion, politics, and all this stuff. But I think that pretty much the biggest theme was how within humans there's this innate desire to just be free completely, savage, full on, because these kids, they've been on this island for barely any time, and they've already completely destroyed their structure, because there's no society or civility around to keep everything in order. So basically, obviously the author's trying to say that when man is left to his own vices, he'll just go crazy and what's the word? Pretty much just do whatever, regardless of if it's good or bad. And that's a very pessimistic outlook, but then also in the same book, you have all these characters who are trying for order and trying to keep peace, like Simon and like Piggy, but unfortunately those characters do get killed off. So yeah, it's a very pessimistic book. It's basically saying that like in a complete out of order context, if anyone's trying to keep the peace, keep things organized, it just falls apart. So really interesting. And towards the end of the book, when Piggy and Simon are both killed, and Sam and Eric are both these like guards on the other side, and he's the only one left, and Ralph goes renegade. I thought that was like really cool. I thought the author was going to do some sort of like thing where he fights them off and picks them off until at the end it's only like Jack and Ralph left alive, and then they get rescued. But that's not what happened. In the end, it's the ending was a bit anticlimactic in a way, but then at the same time, it really was a perfect ending in my opinion, because you have all these characters confronted with the reality of what they've done, where this officer comes and he comes here to save them because he sees that the whole island is on fire because they're all chasing this one guy, Ralph, and then the officer is like, what the hell's going on here? But then as he goes back towards the ship, he realizes the irony of that statement, because outside of the island there's like this gigantic world war going on, because this book was written in like I think the 50s, so it was like right off the heel of World War II, 50s or 60s. So obviously it's like kind of ironic because he's saying that, but then like outside of the island there's like this huge world war going on. So that's basically like the theme, I guess. Not really good or bad, I'd say, but just the inherent desire to keep order, justice. Because you do have some characters who want that, but clearly it goes to crap in the end, and most of them are just for like this out of order society where Jack is using fear to like control them because he puts the pig's head on the stake or whatever. Another theme, I guess, was it completely slipped my mind. I forgot what I was gonna say, but until I remember, the characters in the book, I really did like them overall. The setting was great. Some of it did drag on, some of the language. Like, I feel like some of it didn't need to be there, but it was still relatively short, like 12 chapters, so I would recommend it. It's a good book. It's a decent read. A lot of people don't like this book since they were asked to over-analyze the crap out of it in school, which, you know what, I understand. There's a lot of books I didn't like when I was in school because I was forced to overanalyze the crap out of them. But now that I'm reading them now, I realize that they still are good books. And you should read them on your own time and just think about them yourself instead of regurgitating the same information you were taught in school. The point that I forgot earlier was actually about how the main antagonist, basically Jack, uses mob control to basically wipe out his enemies, where like you have Simon, who was just a very innocent character, and he was just trying to help everybody because he realized that the beast was not actually a beast. But then he gets completely ripped apart and like beating the crap out of, and then he freaking dies because all of them just start beating the crap out of him because of mob control. Jack's just like, oh, he's bad, kill him, and do their crazy ass ritual, and they beat the crap out of him. And it's not just them; it's Jack, Ralph, Piggy, everyone. And then Ralph and Piggy, the only difference between them two is that they just pretend that it didn't happen because they pretend that they weren't part of it. Obviously, trying to keep like a moral high ground. I thought that was really interesting and really adapt. What's the word? Not adapt, but it really can be compared a lot to today, where people are always canceled for every little thing they do. There's like this mob mentality where like everyone has like this moral high ground. Everyone just attacks for every little thing. So I thought that was really, really interesting, and that's what I related it back to. So yeah. Overall, though, Lord of the Flies, like I was saying before, give it a read. It's not perfect. It has some errors in my opinion, but it's not the worst book I've ever read. It's really good overall. I definitely recommend it. It's not too long either. It's like 300 pages, so you could definitely finish it in like a week or two. Not even 300 pages, like 280 pages. But yeah, it's an okay book. I would recommend it. Definitely check it out. So let me know what you guys think of this book review / discussion video. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see next, and Also, let me know what you guys think of this book if you've read it. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of what I thought about it, and also what you guys thought about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.